Yeah, hi guys. Very good evening. So yesterday we have discussed about lot of backups, right? Yesterday we have discussed about what is full backup and what is a differential backup and what is transaction log backup and what is copy only backup and compressed backup and split backup and mirror backup. Okay. Definitely, you may get different types of questions. I'm not telling. Okay, this only they will ask one or two more questions, but all backups and recovery models are very important, but still we have couple of still we need to discuss on backup, then we will go for backup scenario, and then we will become a more stronger in the backup session. Once you finish the backup session, start restore as a part of today's session. So what are other types of backups? Mostly what I mean to say, earlier even in even my overall career I didn't perform these backups, but still as a database administrator we must and should know about all kind of backups. Okay, so there are file and file group and partial and tail log backups. So this four backups we are going to discuss now, then we'll complete the backup session. What is a file group backup and what is a file backup and what is a partial backup, we need to discuss today. And assume in one database how multiple files and multiple file groups in one database in olden days. Okay, in olden days I'm not sure whether this type still someone is using or not, because the storage capacity used, right? And even we are having ssd performance has been improved, and now we are completely going for the old database backup only. But when you go for a couple of years back, what exactly they are doing, right? Simple, like file and file group backups. If one database contains multiple files and multiple file groups, and that file group also read only file groups and read write file group, then these three backups will come to the picture. When the database contain multiple mdf files and multiple file groups, and that file groups are read only file groups and read write file groups, then this concept will come. And file backup and file group backup and partial backup. If database is in a traditional database which contain one mdf file and one ldf file, no need to go for this file and file group and partial backups. Assume your database size is very huge, like it is a database size terabytes, like 10 terabytes and 20 terabytes. One database, suppose one database 30 TB, my hard disk size is in TB. Mostly my hard disk size is 1 TB. So here, okay, hard disk is 1 TB. If you want to work with database size is 30 terabytes. Now think about the database. In that case, if something happened to the that database, or we got opportunity to migrate the data, and so how we are going to migrate the data? 30 terabytes, sir. Very difficult, right? It's not easy as well to migrate 30 terabytes database from one server to another server. It's not easy, and we cannot keep 30 TB in one single file, right? You can keep everything in single file, no, right? So what you are going to do, right? You are going to create multiple files and multiple file groups. Okay, then we can start the backupping the files and files backup and file group backups. And also in the file groups, as I told you, right, read only file groups and read write file groups is available. For better, first what I can do, I can create one database. Let me create one database. After that, let me perform this database only, and go to properties. Here I am having only one ldf and one mdf, right? One is by default primary, we will get it. Here only one file group and one mdf and one ldf, right? Why I can go for the file backup and file group backup or partial backup? We can perform normal backup, right? If in case multiple if log files, multiple files and file groups, you can perform the file group backup and file backup and partial backup. Let me do one thing, and let me what I'm going to do, right? Let me create one file group, and that is secondary. Add file group. I'm making a read only. Means I'm selecting read only. Means whatever the data which is available in the file group, mostly I'm reading the data. I'm not performing any modification. So what you do understanding, and whatever data your developers, not your DBS developers, what will do, right? Will create the multiple file groups, and will create the multiple files. So you can click and here I'm selecting OK. I have created one file group. Here also I'm going to create files. Let me create a file. I'm making name test underscore ndf1. I'm making as a read only. Let me perform the log backup. I'm creating files. I have choose a file group is the read only. I'm making this file in the read only. This file means to data you can placing in this file group, right? In this file, right? In this data file that mostly you are reading the data, and they are not modified, right? So that is how you are segregating the file and file group. When your database size is very huge in real world, and whenever your database size is very huge, that is how you will segregate the data. So they will create the multiple file groups, and they will create multiple files, and they are keeping the files into file group, separate file group. So so I can create one more file group, one more file. Click on add test underscore ndf2. I'm making this also. I'm making file group as a read only. Now in my database I'm having two files and two file groups, and my database having two file groups, and one is a default primary, and default is nothing but it is a read write. Yeah, now file group read only operation. See, I'm just making, I'm segregating my files. That is how earlier we are being performed on the data files. Maybe still I'm not telling there is no or yes. This is how your database will be designed. Whenever data is having use, and we cannot keep everything in one single file, right? It will impact the performance like anything. So we will create the multiple files, and we will keep each files in the different file group or the same file group. That is up to your mark. First I am going to create a file group, and I am creating the files. First we need to create the file group, and next we need to create the files. Okay, this is how your database will be designed. This is the log file, and this is how your database design multiple files, and this is your log file. This is your log file, and this is also one important. So I'm not discussing here. We'll discuss in the log file troubleshoot. So even you can create multiple log files, and someone may ask you, can I create multiple log files? You can create multiple log files also. No use. Even you are create multiple log files. Also until unless one log file will be get full, won't move to the another log file. Assume you are having a four log file means, so data is going to the first log file, and once the first log file is full, then it will go to the second log file. If second log file is getting full, then it will go to third log file. Until unless your data is completely filled on the one log file, it won't go for another log file. No use, right? Even you create multiple log files also, no use, because I can work with one customer, and I explain the same thing. But the MDF files are very important. See how they will do means, for your understanding, what developers means whenever they are creating the table, and what DBA means. We will create the file group, and we will create the files, and that DBA or DBA task. And whenever developers are creating the tables, right, they will maintain the file group name. So read only. They will mention the file group name whenever they are creating the tables. If they mention the file group name, by default, that table will go for the file group only. That is how your developers will do. Our DBA task is we need to create the file group and we need to create the file. Later, what developers will do, right? Developers will, while creating the tables, and they will create the tables so on file group, means instead of by default, it will go to the primary file, right? Primary file group, right? Instead of going to the file group, it will go to the read only. That is how developers will do, not DBA. And DBA task is creating files and creating file groups. For developers will do, they can move the whatever the data, and they want to. We already done our task is done. Now developers means what kind of data they are performing, and what kind of data they are moving to the different files. That is up to their mark. That is how you need to perform as a database administrator. So when you are having this kind of architecture on your database, these three backups is come to the picture. Whether you perform or you cannot perform, whether you are decide to perform or not, that is up to you. And no one will application team will come and ask, tell you, and hey, take a partial backup and tail backup and file group backup and file backup. No one will come to and ask you, and based on our request will work on it. So this, whatever the data is available in the file groups, mostly you are performing read operation. Whatever the files are available in the file group, mostly you are performing the read only operation. Mostly read only operations to improve the performance. That is up to DBA task only. How you are going to improve the performance? If whenever your database size you very use, will ask application team, hey, what are the tables you are frequently performing, right? Operations. What are the tables you are frequently performing the read operations, but not modifying? So in that case, that kind of data is available in that database. You can educate your application team. We will create one more file with one more file group. Whatever the tables you are performing read only operations, let move to the that file group, so that it will improve the performance of the read operations. That is what we need to educate our application team. But we are not doing. That's what, sir. We are not following actually best practices, not application team. Simply what we are doing. Once we create a database, okay, done. Our job is done. But where we are educating our application team, that structure and the core structure, and nowhere, when you have this kind of structure, we'll go for file backup and file group backup and partial backup. So the file backups, you can also do the file group backups, which allow you the backup all the files that in the particular file group. When you're going for the file group, and whenever you're going file group, whatever the files are available in that file group, it is going to take complete backup. Assume in read only, I'm having two files, right? That two files, it will be backups. So here file backup and file group backup and partial backup is available. And earlier days we are performing still. We can perform, sir, whenever your database structure and like this. When your database structure will be like this, means I can give one more example. Assume my database size is very huge, like assume it's around 10 terabytes. It's having multiple file groups, and couple of files are read write file groups, and a couple of read files read only, and a couple of and file groups, and your database corrupted. Okay, but and their data is available on different server. In that scenario, how I can bring the database online to quickly, very quickly? So in that case, we can suggest application team. Wait, let me first to take backup the read only, read write file group. Later, I can backup the read only file group and I can recover the database as soon as possible. So first you need to backup read write file group. Later you can database backup read only file group and you can recover the data so that your application team having less downtime. So it's not easy to take complete 10 TB backup, right? And 10 TB backup and copy, and it restore. Think about how much time it will take. So we are performing partial backup now. You are performing file group backups now means first we'll perform the read write file group backup and we'll restore it so that application start working on that file group, because they are writing the data, right? Read operations. Later we will take the backup and we'll restore in that. How this kind of backups can help in that scenario. If application team is hurry and I need to recover my database very quickly, then you can go for partial backup, then file group backup, and not file backup, file group and partial backup. You need to perform this scenario. Here our main concentration on the what is a file group backup and what is a file backup, what is a partial backup. So when you are working with file and file group backups, so you can follow the both methods in GUI and graphical user interface and command line interface. Sometimes graphical user interface won't support, then you need to go for a command line. So that is how I made like this demo as well. I have created one table, one database, and I have created one file group, and I created one file group, and how I'm going to take backups, right? Okay, let me go to the backups, go to properties, let me go to the file groups, and I'm having a primary, right? It is a default and it will perform the read write operations, and by default it is means defaults means it is a read write operation, and one is a read only operations. Only read operations I have performing our understanding. Okay, read only operation, and I am having two read only file group files, and this is my read only. Two files are available under file group. Now let me take one full backup for your safer side. My full backup is done. Now what I am going to do, let me take a file group backup. So I am going to take the file group backup means what is the syntax? Backup database under database name testdb, file group equal to read only, right? Disk and specifying C drive testdb underscore read only dot bak. So here backup database name and file group equal to read only. You need to add this parameter. Okay, what is file groups? You need to mention file group name. How I can get file group name means go to database and go to properties. There are file groups. We will get it here. Read only. This is the file group name. Instead of this is your file group name, and let me and one more thing, and instead of going properties and go to sp underscore help db and drag and drop your database name, go and execute it, and you will get a complete information about what is your database size and db owner and db id and created date and logical name and the compatibility level and what is the physical path. You will get complete. Okay, better you need to remember this command sp underscore help db. You will get the database information. So you are getting the file group and copy the this file group and you can paste here. So to disk and navigate the path, and just with the format I have mentioned, and backup database name and file group equal to read only to disk. and navigate the path. This you need to perform the take file group backup. Now I want to do take file backup. Execute, it is executed. Now I want to take the file backup. If you want to take file backup, so this is how your syntax. You need to use this backup and backup database and database name. Here are not the database name. So which file you are going to take backup option? I'm going to this file. You need to specify the login name and logical name you need to specify. Go to database and properties you can go. Here logical name you will get it. This logical name you need to mention. Okay. This is nothing but it is a logical name. It is DB name and the file is the test to backup. I have mentioned test to backup, right? This is the logical name. When you are going to modify the file in your what you want to do, and just you need to go to the database properties and whatever here it is displaying, right? I mean, when you go to the properties, it is displaying a logical name. Okay, whenever you want to perform certain activities, you need to pass the logical names. Either you can run sp help db and or you can go to the properties database. You will get it the logical name. Every file there will be logical name, sir. That is logical name you need to specify here whenever you want to take the file. So which is the file I want to take here? You need to specify, not database name. This is my logical name. TestDB is the my logical name. So I'm specifying the TestDB and to disk, specifying the logical name here, file to disk, and navigate the path test backup underscore to DB backup. That file extension will be FIL. Whenever I'm taking file group backup, the extension is .bak only. But whenever I'm taking the file backup, the extension is FIL. Very, very important. So how to take the file group backup and how to take the file backup? Then go and execute it. My DB, my file backup got successful, and go to verify in C drive. These are all backups is happen, right? So this is my file backup. This is my full backup, and this is my file group backup. But syntax you need to remember. Okay, very very rare case. No one in lost mostly, but at least whenever you are going to perform, you can remember this syntax. But at least whenever you are going to perform, you can remember this syntax. Now can I take backup to graphical user interface? Right click on the database, go to the task and go to the backup. So now you can take the file backups. If you want to take these two files, okay, so it is checking here, but especially you need to mention the file. See here, this is going C drive test backup and test backup dot file. This is the extension you need to specify, but definitely you may get confused here. It is directly selecting them. Okay, instead of selecting all the files, suppose instead of selecting all files, right? Then you can go for a file group, right? What is the purpose? I can go for directly file group, right? If you are selecting all the files in that file group, I can directly go and take the file group backup. Why I need to go for files? If you are taking only files, one files, then you can go for the file backup. It is better. You can go for fil fil extension. If you are taking all the file backup, then you can go to .bak. Only it will take complete the file group backup and well and good. Instead of taking single file, you can go for file. If you are having multiple file, then go to directly file group backup, and that is up to your mark. Click on OK. My file backup is completed. This is my file backup. Okay. I know it's bit confusing from the graphical user interface, from the command line, command prompt, but that is what logic Microsoft came up. Even I'm telling that I never perform these activities. I'm just explaining this concept. Most of the time, even I ask even more experienced guys, then it's as well, because our storage is not that much and our data is not that much. Okay, that they are performing now. Our storage is nowadays too faster than compare with earlier days. We are using nowadays we are using premium SSDs, right? Premium SSDs, ultra SSDs, very faster. It can bump like this file and file backup and file group backups. Now, last but not least, here read write file group. Then I told you, right? This is what very very important actually. Mostly in rare case, at least you will perform this activity. I want to take backup of read write file groups, not read only file groups. If I want to take the backup of read write file groups, then you can go for this syntax. This also we can call partial backup only. Technically, we're calling partial backups to improve the flexibility to take the backup. Very large databases which contain one or more read only file groups. Okay, so that's what I'm telling, right? When your database size is very huge and your database size is having read only file groups and read files, then better you want to take, you can go perform the partial backup. Partial backups are two compatibilities. One is you can perform the full backup and one is perform the differential backup as well. But file and file groups, no sir. Partial backup you can perform the to entire your full backups and you can perform the partially your differential backup and you can do partially, not log backup. And log backups you cannot do partial backup. There are useful whenever you want to execute the read only file groups. I don't want to take as of now read only file groups backups. Ignore read only files, just to take read write file groups, then I can restore the database and well and good for me. At least our application team is performing write operations. Later I can take read only file groups and I can restore it. So when you go for partial backup and full backup, you can take partial differential backup. This is what your syntax, sir. You cannot perform this partial backup into the GUI, graphical user interface. You need to perform from the command prompt only. You cannot do it from the graphical user interface. File group backups, yes, and file backup, yes, but partial backup must and should. You need to perform the command line. Only you need to perform the command line only. Backup database and the database name and a read write file group and a read write file group. You are not able to mention any file groups names by default. Whatever the read write file groups are available, so by default it will capture all in that backup file. Whenever your specific read only, and it will take complete full backup and on that file groups and that files as well, means whatever the files are available in that file group, it will take complete full backup and differential backup also is compatible. And you can take differential, you can take the full backup as well. Let me take file group backups, okay, and backup database name and read write to disk, read write the file group to the disk. I am taking the backup. Again, I am telling. So all these options I am going to explain. So in while my read write file group has been taken backup. So whenever you are taking the file group or partial backup, it is taking along with the log file. Not only that specific file group, it is taking while group level backup also. It is also taking the log backup as well. I'm not taking partial backup for log backup, right? I'm simply taking in the backup of my log file. I'm not doing partial for my log backup. Just to backup I am doing. I'm not performing anything on the log file, right? I'm not changing, that is different. Go to here, go to execute the database. It is executed, right? Go to verify in C drive. See here. or partial backup is completed. So whenever I perform the differential backup, you need to mention the differential. Otherwise, it will consider as a full backup. Okay. So this is my differential backup. Very simple. Don't very make complex. Whenever a database contain multiple file groups and a couple of files are in the read write and a couple of file groups are read only and a couple of groups are read file groups, then whenever your database is in crash and your database is not available in the server, your data is available some other server, and you want to bring your database as early as possible, then you can perform the partial methodologies and take the read file group and first backup and restore it again, and you can take read only file group and restore it. In that scenario will help you. Otherwise, the traditional full backup and a log backup and a differential backup options are available. Whether you're using or not, that is up to your point. Okay. Here, let me go and search in Google backup options in SQL Server. Go to this blog. Whenever you are taking backup, okay, there are lot many commands are available. So lot many parameters are available. Again, I am telling, will I need to remember even one or more? We will remember these comments, but couple of comments very important. I told you right, copy only and compression and stats and init, no format. The couple of options very important. As I told you, we are lot many options and see here no format and no int and inint and no skip, no format and the size and the buffer size and the size buffer account. This is very important, but don't perform this one. And this is what how will troubleshoot the backups. These are two options. I'm going to expect how to improve the operations media and block size and buffer count. These two are very important. Don't perform this one, and that's what you will troubleshoot the backups. And these are two options I'm going to explain how to improve the backup operations. Means these two are very important as of now. No need to worry. I'm going to and I will explain after a couple of days, because once you are stronger backups, then you can understand these two options. But never prefer these options, and this until unless all doors has been closed, it will impact performance like anything, and other transactions are not backup, and these two options improve the backup operations, but other transaction will impact the performance like anything again. And a lot rewind also is available, and rewind, no rewind, and unload, no recovery, standby, lot of arguments. So when you are taking the backups, and there are lot many parameters where you need to remember. But when you are saying that just you are saying backups database and database name to the disk, that is a simple command you are saying. Then what about this one? And a couple of parameters are very important when you are performing certain activities. When you are taking file group backups, when you are taking file group backups, I'm passing with the format. Yes, there is not mandatory whether I need to pass the parameters. Really, I need to pass the parameters. Sometimes yesterday we have discussed, right? Last session we have discussed, and we can take backups directly, and backup not file group. Now I'm going to take a mirror backup. Yesterday we have discussed about some theoretical, right? And if you want to take multiple copies, and if you want to take the multiple copies, I can go for the mirror backup, and one or two three where so I told you, right, we are performing very rare case. Even I also not remember couple of commands, because we never perform this regular basis in the real world. But there are options are available. Whenever you got opportunity, will perform in that time. You can go and search in Google also. I'm not telling you need to remember all these commands, but a couple of commands are very important that you need to remember. Everyone is following the same hierarchy only. And so now if you are going to perform mirror backup, this is the query for your mirror backup. Backup database and the database name to disk. I told you right, if you want to take a mirror backup, the same disk, mirror to the disk, and this is another backup. Let me execute this. It is done right. Your backup is completed. See, this is the DB1 and DB2. This is the your mirror backup. If you want to take multiple copies to the backup file, you can perform this mirror backup. But when you are going to take mirror backup, the drive also should be same path. Both mirrors should be on the same drive. Then what is the use to take a mirror backup? Means what Microsoft is telling, you can take mirror backup that should be on the same drive, C drive only, multiple copies. And what is the purpose of take on same drive multiple copies? At least if you are taking different drive, it is well and good. And the same drive multiple copies, same path multiple copies, it is no use, right? That is what. But within the same drive, why I need to take multiple copies, sir? Try to understand. Microsoft came up with this option. That's what I mean to say. Okay. So that is what I'm telling. So when you go for here means, so couple of whenever you want to kind of backups or taking, if that backups require some additional parameters that you need remember. So with format, suppose here with format I mentioned, right? Here when you need to mention with format, these are all very important comments you need to remember. This is the best location, you can learn it a lot. Just open this block and go to and control F. Microsoft clearly mentioned that what is and no init, and what is init, and what is no init, and what is init. Seek controls whether the backup operations appends to the or overwrite the existing backup set. Sir, I told you right, whenever you are taking the backup, Microsoft going to create one backup set, and we use the backup options whether I need to initialize or we need to overwrite. That will be decided by the no init and init. When I'm taking the backup, I'm not choosing anything. Go for the script, sir. When you are get complete information what Microsoft is going to do default option, and default is the no format, and no init, and skip, and no rewind, no upload. These are all different options. These are all default options Microsoft is going to doing the backend. As I told you, you need to remember only this syntax. Okay, these are our default options. So default Microsoft going to perform no unit, and default Microsoft going to no format, no rewind, and no upload. That is the default option. If you are specially passing, then the parameters is going to change. Like I just wanted to perform it init comma format dynamically passing now. When is what is default option? No init and no format, no rewind, no upload. That is the default option. But I'm specially passing these parameters now. Initialize my backup set format by backup media family format. That is how will whenever you want to dynamically pass, you can pass it. But if you are not passing also, your backup will be success. If I need to change the backup names, whatever the default Microsoft going to perform all that default option. In case if specially I want to do something, then you can pass with alpha with these parameters. These are all optional whether it is required or not, based on what kind of backup you are taking. That we can make sense for full backup, and differential backup, and log backups. No need to pass any parameters. That are regular backups, no need to pass any parameters. Okay, when you are taking traditional backups, full and differential and log backups, no need to pass any parameters. Let it be in default. But as a database administrator, we need to know about something, at least one or two parameters, or that is what this block. Okay, init means whether I need to initialize my database, my backup set, or I need to append my backup set. I need to initialize my backup set, or I need to append my backup set. Whenever you have time, just open this block and read a couple of parameters. Maybe you never use it because in real world mostly will perform the full backup and differential backup and log backup. No need to pass any parameters. When you are going to mirror backup, you need to pass it. Otherwise, you no need mostly these two scenarios, partial backups and mirror backups. That's what I mentioned here. Any something overwriting, sir? Other overwriting, appending, overwriting. These are our two options available here: overwrite and appending. By default, it is appending. Means you are adding data to the file which is already available. So whatever the historical information is storing in the MSDB, right? That historical information I am telling, and concentrate and full backup and differential backup and log backup, and concentrate on these three. And once you are stronger, you can go for copy only, and you can go for compression, then you can go for partial backup. That's it. Who are starting a career, who already working, just you need to remember all these things. Again, I'm telling, max to max, you will never get the chance to take file group backup or file backup, partial backup. Also, very rare case, someone may ask you this type of interview questions. That is the reason I'm telling, remember the partial backup as well. Otherwise, I will also tell that no need to remember. Again, you can try for no format. No format specify whether the media header should be written the value, whatever the value you are using, right? The value also need to store in the historical information, whether you are using SanDisk and whether you are using local disk, whether you are using tape level backups, whether you are using Azure storage account. So that level and disk level volumes information is maintaining by the MSDB. Whether I need to write in the media header or not, what kind of media you are using, that successfully work here, and specify whether the media header should be written on the volume used by the backup operation. Whenever you are taking the backup, what volume you are using, what kind of value it is, either it is tape level or it is a sand level, it will local level, it is Azure storage account or S3 buckets levels, what kind of media it is, writing the sum in the header media header, because that is what historical data. Microsoft maintaining complete information. If you are not maintaining historical information, definitely if someone is coming to you and asking, definitely we have again blank page, because someone is may ask you who taken last backup, where he taken the last backup. So you need to get the information, right? Simply I can get the information. Sir, that is historical information is maintained in the three tables in the MSDB. That is nothing but that backup file and file group and media set backup. Okay, these three are maintaining. We need to remember these three, and five tables also in MSDB storing historical information, which is storing historical information. Very very important tables. And backup media set, the very important table, contain the complete information media family. And media means storage media related, and backup set related will maintain the backup file information, will maintain the backup files. Okay, the backup file group information will maintain by the file group. So but very very important tables. Suppose if you want to read the data, select start from dbo dot, you will get the complete information about your backup set id and backup set uid and backup media id. Okay, and number, last family, last media number, even what exactly this is performing, and no one, not only me, try to remember at least these three tables. We have someone is asking how to get the backup historical information, and backup set, backup media family, and backup media set. These three will get the historical information. We'll store the historical information. This is the complete we need to remember. In SQL Server, we have thousands of tables, and so not easy to remember all these column names. At least a couple of tables are very important, and a couple of are very important. We are going to discuss tables and columns in the coming sessions. As of now, when you are working with backups and backup set media and family and backup media set, these three tables are very important. Okay, you feel that, but syntax is very important. Sir, backup data, backup on the database name to disk with differential backup, log database name to disk. These three are very important. The parameters when you go for with the stats also, it is very important. Stats will tell us how much percentage your backup is completed. Stats is very important. Init is very important, and the copy only is very important. Compression is very important. So at least you need to remember stats is the first important, and format and copy only, compression, that is the rest you need to remember it. Now tail log backup, and last but not least, but tail log backup. Okay, what is tail log backup? When your answer last but not least, this is how to restore it. Mostly today we are going to start the restore. Mostly tomorrow, next session I will show you the practical. Theoretical we can discuss today. So next session we are going to practical. And first of all, what is a tail log backup, sir? Tail log backup is compatible only in SQL Server, and tail log backup is not compatible with Azure MI, and backup is compatible in only SQL Server. That is not compatible in Azure MI. But when you go for full backups, and about full backup, tail log backup, you know about log backups, right? When you take log backups, what will happen? It will take complete transactions log backup, right? And it will truncate the inactive portion, and it is a regular backup. Tail log backup can be performed in two scenarios. For our understanding, one is a planned tail log backup, and one is unplanned tail log backup. Means especially when you are take tail log backup, means I can plan to take the tail log backup, or my time is worst, I'm taking unplanned backup. That is the scenarios. Suppose this is my server, and it's running since 6 months, and it is running very very well, and this is my database. It's running from past 6 months. It's running very good. It's giving best performance, and I have one more server and one more database in different server. My application thought that I need to run my application in this database also for a couple of months, so to see how performance is giving in the server. Okay, see, this is the one instance which is available in the ones. Both are in different servers, but both are same, having the same data and the same database. Same is the SQL configuration is the same, but wanted to validate how many databases performing on that server. Two, in that case, your application team will come to you, ask, hey, can you move the entire database to another server? That scenario will take the tail log backup. When you take the tail log backup, your database will go to the restoring mode, right? When you take the tail log backup, nobody is about that restoring mode. We are going to discuss the same concept either coming sessions. When you take the T-log backup, transaction log backup, your database is online, and your database is online. But when you take a tail log backup, your database will be go to the restore mode. Means In the bracket here, restoring, here I will get it the restoring mode. Restoring means no one access the database, so that is what a planned tail log backup. When you go for planned tail log backup means my database is running from long time. Okay, my application team wants to test one more database and how is it working performance. Now I want to move all the my concerns to other server. I can go for the tail log backup. Tail log backup capture the any record that has not at the backed up. Suppose when you restoring the database, right, that time whatever the transaction is available, that will be take transaction log backup, entire logs it will be backed up. That is what actually definition you need to remember, but our understanding should be different. When you will perform the tail log backup means in two scenarios. One is planned, I am taking tail log backup. When your application team is asking to move the connections from one server to another server, I will go for the tail log backup. Whenever a database is corrupted, whenever a database is corrupted, first first I need to perform tail log backup. So whenever your database is corrupted, tail log backup is not compatible. You cannot the transaction log backup. Only tail log backup is compatible whenever your database is corrupted. First, you need to take the tail log backup. May or may not be success. Again, I am telling tail log backup may or may not success. Suppose what exactly actual definition means. Every 1 hour, you are taking transaction log backup, right? 8 a.m. and 9 a.m., 10 a.m. and you are taking transaction log backup. Assume 9:30 your database is corrupted, and 9:30 your database is corrupted, and 9:30 database is corrupted. Now tell me what about 30 minutes data? You are having up to 8 o'clock, because 8 o'clock you have taken the backup, and 8:30 database corrupted. And what about 30 minutes data? How can I recover the 30 minutes data? By performing the tail log backup. That is what Microsoft telling. Tail log backup capture any log records that has not backed up, maintain the T log backup. That is what the definition. You need to buy it, sir. That's it. This one, there are no other option. So tail log backup is nothing but whatever the your log backup is not taken the backup. If I want to take that backup, I can go for the tail log backup. Your T log backup is not compatible if your database is corrupted. Syntax is again same only. Most of the people's getting confused, and syntax, and what is the syntax means backup, and backup log test db to the disk equal to path, and the extension should be trn only, tlog backup, tail backup also. Whenever my database is corrupted, that is unplanned tail log backup. Whenever truncate or should not be truncate the logs when you were taken tail log backup. So if you go for with this option, continue after error, that we reached properly main manner, sir. But for ours, see, assume your first you will go for the repair, right? That is the what your backups are working in the backup, and a full backup, and tail log backup, differential backup, and log backup, and a full backup, and a differential backup on the transaction. This is the about the tail log backup. Whenever our database is crashed, it will go to the unplanned tail log backup. When you are moving the data other server, you need to perform tail log backup. That's it today. You can come up with tomorrow restore concept. Thank you for everyone.